Hello everybody, welcome back to another episode of Just So I am playing Final Fantasy. Why am I doing this? Trying to make it different every single time. In any case, I'm playing Final Fantasy 14. Last episode we did some stuff, and at the end of the episode we witnessed a big snack boy. And today we're gonna go and learn or figure out a way to deal with the big snack boy. Another thing that happened off camera is that a new patch has dropped. Patch 6.3, which includes the added, there's so many little honestly quality of life things. One of them in any case is like if you're in a party window, now you can actually see the timers of people's buffs and debuffs underneath their name, or like next to their name, so that's a really handy thing. The other thing that has been added that I kind of appreciate is portraits, which we will see when we enter Leviathan. Spoilers! I'm gonna fight Leviathan, you guys. Anyway, you're expected in the command room. Pray do not keep the Admiral waiting. Yes. Yes. Merlibip Blissfin.
There used to be a hamlet beyond South Tidegate in western La Noscia.
Noscia? Oh god.
Some years prior to the Maelstrom's founding, Leviathan rose from the briny depths and set about unleashing watery hell upon us. On that occasion, the Company of Heroes put him down before he could do too much damage. But when the bastard came next, this time in the wake of the calamity, we were not so fortunate. Weary of ravaging our shoreline, he summoned a tidal wave which fair leveled Hearthstone and washed the soil away for good measure.
The area was subsequently occupied by the Sahagin.
Aye, the thrice-damned creatures transformed it into a spawning ground for their brood. Given the quantity of crystals stolen to feed him and his legion of thralls, we can be fairly sure that Leviathan is stronger now than in his previous incarnations. If that sea demon is left to wreak havoc, what befell Hearthstone may well befall a larger settlement, even Limsa. That cannot happen. The Primal must be stopped.
That was ever our objective, Admiral. But how are we to achieve it? The sea is Leviathan's uncontested domain. The ships of the 3rd Squadron could not close to within 100 yards of the Primal, nor could their cannons pierce his defenses.
I have read the reports, Master Thancred. Our warships may as well have been bloody pleasure barges for all the good they did. 7 hells! Is there no way that we might strike back?
The Company of Heroes defeated Leviathan, having first lured him into an inlet, but we must needs contend with him upon the open sea. It will avail us little to consult past experience.
Admiral, if I may.
Speak freely, Marshal.
By all accounts, Leviathan's most formidable weapon is the very sea itself. Waves and whirlpools, tides and currents, all these things are his to command. The key to victory, I believe, lies in disarming our foe. This, in effect, is what the Company of Heroes achieved with their ruse. We cannot lure Leviathan from the sea a second time. But what if we could weaken his hold upon the element of water? I have heard of devices capable of such wonders. They draw upon the power of corrupted crystals, I am told. If mounted upon a ship, such a device might be used to prevent Leviathan from bringing the full force of the sea to bear against us, rendering him no more dangerous than any other sea serpent.
Of course! Sid built a similar device to grant the Enterprise safe passage through Garuda's Tempest, did he not?
Begging your pardon, my lady, but to give credit where it's due, This is something I heard from an old arcanist friend of mine.
It makes little difference who thought of it first, so long as it works. Beg the specifications of this device from your friend, and I shall pass them on to our people at Naldic and Vermelis. But before we proceed any further, I would voice one concern. Piercing Garuda's defenses is one thing. Suppressing Leviathan's attacks, quite another. In matters of science, I am as a babbling babe. But I cannot well imagine that such a feat would be possible without a veritable mountain of corrupted crystals. The question being, do we have a ship big enough to bear such a burden?
Mayhap not, Admiral, but two might. Recall you the tale of Mistbeard's greatest haul? It is said that he lashed two ships together, side by side, the better to bear his plunder. By your leave, we might attempt to repeat the trick. The gods know it would be quicker than building a new vessel.
Mistbeard did this. Truly, Marshal, upon the subject of the Pirate King, you are as a scholar.
Now, from what I have gleaned of these matters, the device will need to be in close and constant proximity to the target. To wit, we must lash our twin vessel to Leviathan. This in itself will be no small feat. Ramming speed will be required, but given the weight of the cargo, that will only be attainable with the aid of a towing vessel. Suffice it to say, the task of piloting said vessel will entail considerable danger, and I would not ask it of another. I volunteer myself.
'Twill be dangerous for all involved, but we have no better recourse. Very well. Commodore, assemble the remnants of the fleet at Morabee Bay. Give priority to our soundest vessels. The repairs can wait. Storm Marshal Slafierson, command of the operation is yours. I want that twin vessel ready to sail post-haste.
At once, Admiral.
And then there is the small matter of slaying the beast. The fate of Limsa Lominsa rests upon your shoulders once again. Go well, Warrior of Light.
The nodding never ends. Right. And more. Beings held as gods also exist in what you call the Far East. Legends tell us they walked among us in days of yore, but I confess that I never truly believed them. That I should live to behold one is humbling and horrifying in equal measure. Now that I have come face to face with the Primal, I do begin to understand why the Guardians feared them so. What is it? A message, Admiral. I judged it best that it be delivered at once. I am listening. According to the Yellow Jackets, a man has appeared who claims to have defeated Leviathan. One of the company of heroes. The details are yet hazy, Admiral. We have dispatched one of our own to question the individual. I am disinclined to put any store based by this claim, and even should it be true, it is as Justola said, none save the company of heroes have bested Leviathan. And you know how they went about it. If this man is of their number, what could he tell us that we do not know already? And yet, having wagered Limsa's survival on 2 ships, some rope and a pile of crystals, can we afford to ignore this man? If his testimony could yield us any matter of advantage, should we not hear it? Damn it all. The twin vessel will soon be ready. We have no time to wait for the Maelstrom's report on this supposed Primal Slayer's claims. Lim, seek him out and learn what he knows. At the very least, it will spare you the torment of waiting for the reckoning in idleness. The man you're looking for is believed to be a resident of the Grey Fleet in Lower Lanoche. The Storm Private sent to question him should already be in the vicinity. May your journey prove fruitful. Alright. Into the heart of the world. Or the world? The world. Ah. The silence while I fly around in my little scooter thing. Is that the mist over there? Oh no, the mist is down there, I think, at the cliffs. I think down here somewhere. This is such an annoying place to get to, my god. Now look here, you. You'll have your bloody story right after you carry those grains, those sacks of grain over to the mill. But sir, that's what you said before you had me pick those oranges for you. And before I mucked out the chocobo stables. And before I rolled that millstone over to the mill, and also before... Gods, man, I've worked 3 days straight without a wink of sleep. 3 days, and do you hear me complaining? Bah, I suppose some of us just ain't made for the rougher stuff. Alright, I'll give you what you want. Never let it be said that old Tractor ain't a generous soul. Now prick up your ears, because I won't be repeating myself. Too modest to say. Besides, there's only so much epicness a man can take in one sitting, you can. The tale of Tractor's epic victory over the dread primal Leviathan. Now, Leviathan is huge, make no mistake. To give you an idea how big each of his scale is, about as wide across as me members long. And that's no mean feat, let me tell you. When I fought him, I could barely see for all the brine he was pelting me with. Must have been a lagoon's worth at least. He even knocked me trusty axe out of me hand at one stage. Of course, that proved to be a grave mistake. What happened next? Oh, I grabbed him by the tail and tied him up in knots. But not wanting to take all the glory for myself, I let me mates in the company of heroes handle the rest. Like I said, I'm honest as well as heroic. Maybe too honest. Now, there's some as say you can never truly beat Leviathan. That you've got to learn to live with him and make the best out of a bad situation. Not the company, though. What the hell? Hello. Ah! It's you! I'm sorry, I didn't mean it. I was just enjoying the attention, is all. I take back everything I said. I was never part of the company of heroes. I'm the marauder. I'm actually a complete coward. I'm nothing. I'm Chocobo Dung. No, I'm the maggots you find wriggling in Chocobo Dung. I have to lie. I have to lie to women to tumble them, and that don't happen much. Me member's tiny. It's pathetic. I sure as hell didn't fight Leviathan, but I have seen him with my own eyes. It was a fair few years back when I was working as a baker's hand. I was shirking my duties one day, loitering about the harbour when I saw it. A great massive big sea serpent some miles off the coast, with a fleet of galleons making straight for it, cannons firing. So bloody scared I sold myself right there and there. There and then. What? Oh god, just remembering that day made me soil myself all over again. Hey, wait, if you're asking after Leviathan, it means you're planning to fight him, ain't you? Well, take care. It really is terrible, dreadful, I tell you. If you're not careful, you'll end up in his gullet there at the bottom of the sea. Well, you worthless lying horse, and I can't believe you made me handle Chocobo Dung. When in this Midfilia, were you able to learn aught of use against the Leviathan? I beg your pardon, Leviathan. I see. That is unfortunate. At any rate, I have tidings for you. The twin vessel is now complete. We await you at the Morby dry docks. Pray, make your way there as soon as you're able. Story about Leviathan. Diabetes. That's the instant. That's the first thing I had to think of that like American dude saying diabetes. I've told your John to the Grey Fleet proved fruitless. My sympathies, lass. A wager would serve to take your mind off the events of recent days, though. But enough of that nonsense. The moment of truth is upon us. The twin vessel, the World Eater, I call her, is complete, and she surpasses all of my expectations. In addition to her prodigious tonnage, she has been fitted with a platform that you and yours might maneuver freely in battle. I would mention also that she is nigh unsinkable, but I'm not one to tempt fate. The World Leader and her crew stand ready, my friend. Just give the word and we shall bear you to Leviathan. Lord of the World. Now I know that look, you are ready. Having been constructed in some haste, the World Leader may not be pretty, but I assure you she's capable. She has been fitted with what our friends at Naldik and Vermilius are calling an elemental converter. Assuming the thing works, it will use the power of the corrupted crystals on board to rob Leviathan of his hold over water. Depending on how the battle unfolds, you may well need to activate the device manually. Keep that in mind. It is expected that the Zahagan and their thralls will attempt to come to Leviathan's defense. Accordingly, the Maelstrom will once again employ diversions. Thank Yustola, I would have you assist in this effort. If it is to fulfill its purpose, your diversionary force must not want for numbers. By your leave, I too would volunteer my blade. You would welcome it. Having seen you fight in Sapsa, I dare say the fishbacks will find your presence highly diverting. Thank Yustola if you would join the 3rd Levy and Lady Yugiri the 5th. But what words have I for the woman who has made a sport of slaying gods? Only these. Go warily, for the sea is an unforgiving place to wage war. May the navigator guide you through the storm, warrior of light. I would echo the Admiral's sentiments, but add a few words of mine own. Know that we all have the utmost faith in you, Lyn. May the crystal bless and keep you. Nod. The World Leader hard. Now accessible. Let's fucking go. And there with Leviathan. Leviathan. Bow, bow. If you're wondering, yes, that is a part of its song. FYI. However, I'm also gonna be right back, you know, because I have no idea how long it's gonna take for this to queue up. Alright, here we are. Back for more. Well, back for an actual fight, that is. I have not played as a scholar in a little bit, so I guess we're gonna see how that's gonna go. Oh, that shouldn't be too big of an issue in normal content. That's not the type of view that I need. Come on, tank. Please do not leave me hanging, although I feel like you're probably gonna leave me hanging. Which would be quite funny. Of course. Please give me another chance. No? Well, I guess we're gonna be waiting even longer then. Here we are again. Will we have more luck this time? Seriously? I was about to say, like, bruh. Alright. That's a big old ship. Wow, protected by the power of water. Also, some of these cutscenes are really long. Which is kind of unfortunate. And they just ditch us on our little platform in the middle of the ocean. As they salute us while we die. Well, normal mode isn't too bad. Extreme, however, that's a spicy one, the extreme version of this. Well, it used to be a lot worse because of a certain change that they made. Hello, Leviathan. How are you doing? I was really hoping that this cutscene would like happen before I would start the duty, because now I made all these people wait for an ungodly amount of time. Oh well. That's the way it goes, I guess. Also, portraits, which you didn't really get to see that fast. Look over here. Look at this stuff. You can just see portraits now, everybody. Also, whenever a water spout appears, I guess it's not really that important to explain right now, but he will in any case smash that side of the ship and you're gonna get, like, pushed over to that side of the ship. In the normal mode it really isn't gonna be too important, but in the extreme version of this fight, that is going to be a very important thing to keep in mind. That person up. So normally the main tank is supposed to take the head and the off tank is supposed to take the tail. But well, yeah, that's not really happening right now. Also, when these Gaia spumes appear, you need to go and deal with them because they basically suck like the energy of the elemental conversion. If it's too low, you cannot use the shield that it would normally give you. Also, another thing that they added, which is a really nice quality of life thing, is where the game now actually tells you something very useful. Whether or not you will take magic damage or not. Whether, like, what type of damage it is. Magic damage, physical damage and all that jazz. It's very useful for stuff like a certain tank who has a skill that like only lowers magic damage. So that way you can kind of like learn that. Or when you have like a magic weakness or whatever, you can figure out like, oh okay, I should avoid that damage then. We're going to just do this. Leviathan. Other than that, take care of the ads, just like you would in a lot of other fights, honestly. The normal mode really doesn't. There's really not much happening in normal mode. Big sea noodle is dead. And now you also get to do this. Portraits get used in player accommodations too. It's pretty freaking cool. Alright. They just left me. Everybody just left and went home. You're like, oh yeah, should be in. Nice. Clap. Single clap moves on. I need to go this way. I keep forgetting about that. Let me go and show you the portrait of a scholar. This one is quite something. Did not expect it to come out that way, but you know what? I'm not complaining. Knowing the urgency of your business, I thought it best to refrain from making conversation during your past few visits. But today I will permit myself a few words. I feel truly privileged to have had the honor of admitting a hero such as you. You are an inspiration to us all, madam. And on that note, the Admiral awaits you in the command room. A wink. What the fuck?
We Lominsans are sworn to strive, till sea swallows all. And swallow all it would have had Leviathan prevailed. That we still strive now, we owe in no small part to you. Not for the first time, you have delivered Limsa Lominsa from the wrath of a primal. Never has our nation known a stouter ally. On behalf of my people, I give you my humblest thanks.
Just nothing is happening in that head.
'Tis meet that I give thanks to old Mistbeard, too, for his fine solution. Whatever else he may have been, 'tis clear he was a resourceful soul. Would that I had a man like him in my service.
Before I set foot in these lands, I had no inkling that the people of Eorzea contended with such mighty foes. Suffice it to say, their existence came as something of a shock, as did the idea that they could be defeated. This experience has served to remind me of the vastness of the world, and the boundless potential of man. Though I am but a refugee in this realm, I would fain be of use to you in your fight. Know that I am tutored in one of the foremost combat arts of the Far East. It may seem outlandish to the Eorzean eye, but should any of your people care to learn, I would be pleased to initiate them.
And I will see to it that they are grateful. I have no doubt that your knowledge and skills will serve us well. Besides, your art is not so outlandish as you think. Would you not agree, Master Thancred?
Naught escapes your searching eye, Admiral. Few are privy to this information, but Limsa Lominsa is home to a certain secret fraternity. Its members are trained in a form of combat not unlike your own. By my judgment, it should not be beyond such individuals to adapt to the techniques I witnessed you employing with such admirable deftness.
I am heartened to hear this. I too noted a kinship between your style and mine own, though it seemed to me that you fought differently in the beginning.
I suppose I did. What can I say? I'm a man of many talents.
Though you may labor to believe it, Thancred was once something of a scoundrel who fraternized with the criminal class in these parts.
Yestola! You jest, of course.
But for a chance encounter with Alphino's grandsire, he might never have left Limsa Lominsa, or received an education in Sharlayan, or taken up his post in Uldar, which is where he trained in the blade, lest you wonder.
Minfilia, please!
It would seem there is more to you than meets the eye, Master Thancred.
Lady Yugiri, I am told that you and yours came to Eorzea seeking permanent resettlement, and that many domins have since been engaged as frontier hands at Revenant's Toll. Moderna is many things, but a place of refuge it is not. Know that I would like nothing better than to furnish your people with a new home here on Lominsan soil. Alas, racked by instability as we are, our nation is in no fit state to take you in. Yet I'll not have it said that we turned a blind eye to your suffering. Until such time as we can do more, I pledge to send provisions.
We are in your debt, Admiral. I realize that it scarce qualifies as repayment, but if it please you, I shall set about sharing my martial knowledge with your people at once.
More? Okay. More! More!
You wished a word in private.
The better not to spoil the festive mood. History repeats itself, Admiral. As the kobolds stood before them, the Sahagin resorted to summoning their god over a territorial feud. They acted in self-preservation. It may be that the Sahagin initiated this particular clash, but how it begins does not interest me so much as how it ends.
I have not forgotten our conversation, Y'shtola. I am aware that man bears part of the blame for the Primal's existence. Nor am I ignorant of the Sahagin's reason for acting. They sought to secure a place to breed and multiply that their kind might survive. Self-preservation, as you say. But we have as much right to live and thrive as they. If our own survival is threatened, are we to lay down our arms and welcome oblivion? Nay.
And so you kill, that you might live. Yet if living is a right, then that right belongs to all peoples, be they men or beastmen.
I'll not deny your reasoning. But when a storm gathers, it falls to me to see my people safely through it. That is my duty, and I shall do it.
As must we all, Admiral. Stay the course, then. But know that it will lead to no good end.
Didn't notice you, Gary. It's so weird.
Man has ever put himself first and foremost. To justify his actions, he clads himself in the armor of righteousness, though it be a fancy of his own making. In this, mayhap the Garleans and we Domans are not so different.
The lighting is having the time of its life right now.
Eorzea has become as a raging sea. If we are to keep our heads above the waves, we cannot scruple to drown the man next to us. When hopes of coexistence founder, strength must determine who has the greater right to live.
Damn! Durability drought. Fuck that. I don't need that. Now what I'm kind of wondering is... how do I unlock the extreme version? The Admiral has informed me of the arrangement. I have in my keeping a letter of introduction for Lady Ugiri. To the south stands a gate leading to a pier for smaller fishing vessels. I'm burping. Look for an inconspicuous Huron man there, and present the letter to him. He serves as a gatekeeper of sorts. Now before you go, I am obliged to remind you that the members of the fraternity to which you would be introduced abide in the shadows of Lominsan society. They value their independence more highly than pirates, and are united by a bond stronger than mithril, to which they are invariably wary of new faces. Though it be penned by the Admiral herself, mere words on parchment will get you only so far into their confidence. You must work for every ounce of trust they place in you. But here's the letter. Go to the aforementioned place and show it to the aforementioned man. Oh, and good luck. Okay, so I used my white mage. Okay. Let me go and use... well, actually, I'm gonna be doing the extreme in a hot minute. Or sure as hell trying to do that. So I'll just stick around as Paladin at the moment. Or Paladin, as I have, you know, written down on my adventure plates. No fear, Paladin is here. Also, here's a Charlian maiden who looks a lot like my character. Well, she basically wears the same getup except for the pants, which are different. Just thought I'd mention it. That is one of the characters that I got, like, slight inspiration from. Hello, my good sir, the inconspicuous man. Got minutes at me, venture? So, you're the woman the Admiral sent word of. I was hoping I might catch a glimpse of Thancred too. Been a while since I saw a shy-eating grin. But what with all the doe-eyed wenches about, I expect he's got his hands full. Ah, you must be the Far Easterner what Merlewhip says wants to train with us. Welcome to Limsa, milady. I am Yogiri of Doma. It is an honor to make your acquaintance. I must confess, when first I learned of your organization, I had certain preconceptions as to the nature of your membership. It would seem I was mistaken. You're not the first person to say that, lass. Lims is a city of pirates, to be sure. And pirates don't give two farts about keeping a spotless reputation. They hardly need a secret society to do their dirty work. Might be as my people and I keep to the shadows, but we've got nothing to be ashamed of. It's simply better for business that we remain unseen. And so you have developed fighting techniques suited to this purpose. I see. Whatever. Know that the practitioners of my art too are denizens of shadow. It is in stealth that our strength lies. There's much we might learn from one another, I think. Now what in the seven hells are we waiting for? If you'd come with us, you Gary of Doe, what's it? We can get acquainted in a more private rounds. That didn't come out right, did it? Lady Lin, I shall remain with these people for a time, that I might study their ways. Though I am loath to be separated from my countrymen, I take solace in the knowledge that they are in the best of hands. You have been a true friend to us, Domans. No words will suffice to express my gratitude. Ere long, I hope to begin imparting my martial knowledge to the people of Eorzea. When that time comes, it would be my honor to welcome you as a student. Nod. Much and more has occurred since first I beheld Eorzea with from the galleon's deck. Suffice it to say, I did not envisage being invited to play a part in your noble struggle. But forgive me, I have kept you overlong. Doubtless you have a pressing business of your own. Rest assured that I no longer require an escort in this land. When you next meet Lady Minfilia, pray relay to her my humblest thanks. Would that I could do so in person, but I must needs fulfill my promise to the Admiral. Till we meet again, Warrior of Light. Alright, so we need to go to the Rising Stones, but before we do that, let me go to the upper decks for a moment. Because I want to see if I can unlock the extreme over here, or if I need to go all the way back to the Waking Sands. Or maybe in the Rising Stones too. I'm not 100% sure. I would in any case like to unlock that. Right. So there's nothing over here, maybe in the Rising Stones itself. The Rising Stones, yes. And no. Joy. I am pretty dang sure I'm gonna have to go to the Waking Sands then. Well, makes sense, because Oriange is usually the primal boy. Minfilia.
I have been reflecting upon the events which took place during our visit to Vilbrand. If you have a moment, I would share my conclusions with you. Please, bear with me. When the Sahagin Elder summoned Leviathan, he employed the power we have come to know as the Echo, though I cannot well explain the how of it. It would seem he became immortal in so doing. When the Admiral subsequently slew him, his spirit emerged from his lifeless flesh, a consciousness shorn of physical form. Thus transfigured, he took up residence in the body of his minion with the ease of a man donning a favorite glove. Long have I known that the Echo allows one to pass through the walls of a man's soul, but never did I imagine that it could free us from our own flesh, nor less that our souls could then occupy the next corporeal vessel to take our fancy. It was of this that Elidibus spoke, an existence which knows neither cessation nor oblivion. And yet, though the Sahagin had mastered his gift and thereby become immortal, he was by no means invulnerable. As we both bore witness, he was ultimately absorbed into Leviathan. And the import of this observation? If the Ascians' mode of existence is indeed the same, it can be inferred that they too are not invulnerable, that they can be destroyed. There exists a legend which tells of souls who are reborn upon the cusp of each umbral calamity, that they might stay the encroaching darkness. To most, it is but a fairy tale, yet recent events have given me cause to wonder. Could the legend in fact refer to the Echo? Much and more yet remains unknown, but I am confident that all will become clear in time. For the present, however, what matters is that the key to defeating the Ascians may at last be within sight. With Urianger's aid, it is my hope that I shall fathom this matter ere long. Oh, I was just about to send for you, my friend. Is aught amiss?
Grave tidings from the Sharlayan motherland, my lady. It doth concern our distant allies, the students of Baldessian.
What of them?
My lady, the Isle of Val, which for many years hath been the Order's home, is no more.
No more? Whatever do you mean?
I relate only that which hath been conveyed unto me by our agents. An etheric wave of the highest magnitude was recorded in the region. Soon thereafter, 'twas observed that the isle had ceased to be. 'Tis postulated that a magic was evoked, like in power to Ultima.
12 preserve.
If there are no other matters, I move that today's meeting be adjourned.
It is done, my lord. I... Forgive my impertinence, my lord, but these orders, I am uncertain as to what end they serve.
Revolution.
Revolution! Right, through the Maelstrom. As we get, no new title. Doesn't really surprise me too much. Let me go and use this, and then just the synthesize whatever. Onion shield? And just desynthesize. These things. Because I don't really care about them. There we go. Right, I can get I can get there. Wow. No, I can get back relatively easily to this place. So let's go and use Vesper Bay. We use one of my Vesper Bay Aetherite tickets, and let's go and see if Urianger can give me the quest for the extreme version of Leviathan, so that we may do that madness too. And indeed, a whirl of a time. If only you knew. But hey. The Lord of the World, slain at thy hand. 'Twas a deed both heroic and historic. A tale to be told down the ages. I fear, however, that the terror of the Indigo Deep did slumber but briefly in the ethereal sea. The Maelstrom hath assured me with unhappy certitude that Leviathan doth stir from the abyss once more. Should this indeed prove the case, then we face a most troubling and chilling predicament. The Lord of the World is a voracious being. Not less than a treasure trove of crystals would serve to lure the entity back to our plane of existence. 'Tis folly, then, to believe that the sea-bound beastman could gather such a haul with such impossible alacrity. No, we must assume the Sahagin have adopted the disturbing new summoning ritual we observed among the other beast tribes. A threat of unprecedented magnitude now loometh over Limsa. Take thee the swiftest road to Maelstrom Command, and offer thy stalwart service. Thy shining light must needs illuminate the ocean's darkened swell. Yes. Lieutenant Adair, you are, as ever, a welcome sight at Maelstrom Command. Our worst fears are realized. The primal Leviathan has returned to threaten our shores. We did not think it possible for the fishbacks to summon their rapacious god without a considerably longer period of preparation. But there can be no mistake. Prior to contacting Urianger, we received a report detailing the almost complete destruction of a merchant fleet upon the open sea. Only one vessel managed to slip to limp into port, bearing the decidedly unwelcome news of Leviathan's resurgence. Judging by the testimony given by the surviving crew members, the massive waves the entity leveled against the ships dwarfed anything we have ever seen the Primal command before. Should he unleash a tidal wave of similarly empired proportions, Limsa would be scraped from this island like a barnacle from a hull. It is with such dread imaginings in mind that I bid you sail forth to slay the Lord of the World yet again. Our strategy remains unchanged. The twin vessel, the World Eater, is already being prepared under the command of Storm Marshal Slafisrin. Make your way to the Morby dry docks once your preparations are complete. Seek out Sergeant Sternlona, and she will see you safely aboard the ship. May the navigator guide and protect you. Okay, before we go and do that, I do have a little sneaky thing that I'm gonna go and do. Sneaky. I've been doing this off camera, by the way. This is an intriguing little side thing that you can do. You can like level up your squadron, I guess. Let's see. What else could I give them? Let's give them... I think I'm just gonna in general give them more strength. Maybe more strength and... Yeah, let's go and give them this. Right. So you can like train them and then you can send them on missions. So squadron missions over here. Then you can just send them on them, and then the Lalafell or whatever commander you have will then tell you like if it's worth it or not, like if they're gonna make it or not. You have to reach certain statistics. To be able to make them, you have to pay some of these boys over here too, so you know. Once you level this up to a certain degree and do a certain mission, then you're gonna be able to reach the let me go and check over here. The first lieutenant, be over here. Then you'll be able to reach first storm lieutenant, or whatever lieutenant you need. And then after you do a certain amount of missions with your people, you can actually like walk with them, by the way. You can like do a dungeon with them, which is horrible. In any case, you can do that. If after you do like 5, I think, 4 or 5, in combination with a certain specific mission afterwards, then you also become a storm captain, which then allows you to buy other little things, like all of these weapons down here, or... Well, I guess this is not really a good example, but... Yeah, and you can also buy stuff like these coffers over here, these material coffers, which can give you a random minion, or maybe even a mount from a Realm Reborn and Heaven's Word, or one from Stormblood too. So, there we go. Didn't really decide to show this off too much, because this is not really that, like... As far as I'm aware, it's not very in-depth, and it's not really something that I keep myself busy with either. But if you're if you're somehow interested in this, the same with, like, everything that you can do with a retainer and all that jazz, this is stuff that you should look up in a different, like a separate different video, because I'm probably not going to explain it. Storm Sergeant Sternlona at your service. The World Eater is loaded and ready, madam. I'll give the signal for a towing vessel to depart as soon as you're aboard. Leviathan was sighted some distance from the coast, so there should be more than enough time to build up to ramming speed. The entire crew is willing to lay down their lives to ensure you reach your target, madam, so you just concentrate on skewering that overgrown sea serpent. Complete. The World Eater is now accessible. Another thing that I want to mention before we go and deal with this duty. This is going to be a longer episode, because I'm going to do Leviathan in this episode, I think. Or maybe, you know, nah, I'm going to do it in the next episode. I'm sorry, guys. But I think I'm going to do Leviathan Extreme in the next episode then, since it's already 50 minutes. So. Another thing I want to mention before I end it off. There have been some changes to Paladin in this patch, where Sheltwell no longer blocks attacks. It just reduces damage taken by 15%. Which is, you know, pretty freaking good still, to be honest. However, we did get another skill called Bulwark with a 90-second recast. At level 52 skill, so I won't be using it that much. But that would give me 10 seconds of guaranteed blocking, which sounds like a godsend, honestly. Really, because like 17 to 20% damage reduction or something, so that's pretty freaking good. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this episode of this. I was playing a Final Fantasy ffXIV, and next episode we're going to go and begin with fighting Leviathan Extreme, and then we are going to go and just continue our merry way with the MSQ. Goodbye.